going on, everybody? Welcome to another edition of the Writers Room presented by Breaking and Entering. I'm Alan Halas, and I am joined, as always, by my River West counterpart, the host of the Mr. Nice Guy podcast, the music director for Breaking and Entering, head of Nice Guy PR. One of these days I'll get it all right. And concert promoter extraordinaire, Mr. Ben Slowey. How are you feeling today, sir?
Dude, I'm not shit, really. I'm just some guy that gets bored easily. No, I'm kidding. I'm good. Good to see you, Alan. No, I'm having a great day. Very, very nice day out today. It's like the perfect fall day. Yeah. Things are all around pretty solid over here.
Nice.
In the old west of the river. How are you down in the view of the bay?
The view of the bay is well. The view of the bay is pretty nice today. Nice day out, like you said, perfect fall day. I'm excited. I almost wore the Bucks jersey because it's the first Bucks game of the year tonight, and I'm excited for that. I actually canceled the podcast to watch it. So, I mean, Bucks in 6, but also we're going 82-0. You know, we're just never gonna lose a game. That's how that works. That's probably how basketball happens. So yeah, no.
That's crazy.
But yeah, things are good. It's been a busy, crazy week for me, as you know. But for the people that don't know, I do stuff everywhere, and we're busy doing things. But
And those things do involve stuff.
Those things do involve stuff. Just before we went on air, we said that we were going to talk about how busy we were with stuff and things, and here we are doing it. But
dude, yeah. Speaking of things and stuff, so if you recall, last time we were here 2 weeks ago, I was putting out that I was planning on hitting 6 shows in a row.
Yes.
To starting that weekend. Just gonna put it out. I did not make it to all 6. I made it to 4.
Oh, you know what? That's 2/3 of it, and I think that's all right. You survived. I was a little concerned for your well-being, so I'm glad that you survived. That you made it to.
I'm really not shit. I'm not shit. No, I came down with a little cold last week, actually. So I took it easy for a few nights, but I did make it to more shows this weekend, thankfully, which I felt kind of redeemed those 2 shows that I missed.
But, oh man, yeah, I only made 4 nights of consecutive concerts. How dare I?
Hey, man, I'm a man of business. You know this.
Yes.
But it was still a great time to all around to get to those shows. Some of those shows actually were some DIY shows. So
yes, and you can read some artist spotlights from those shows over at breakingandentering.net. But I like the house show stuff. It's cool because that's an aspect of Milwaukee music that doesn't get covered enough because they're house shows and people don't know where they are when they're happening. You got to know somebody. You got to be in the know, like only Ben Slowey is.
It's that it's always the DM for the address, or as the punk scene says, ask a punk. But actually, there ended up being a new DIY venue in town, over on the east side, called Oscillator Lounge. Shout out to them.
The names for DIY venues are always my favorite. But yes, go ahead.
I know. Yeah. So Oscillator Lounge actually is run by Loby of Howard Grove, who you interviewed at Mid-Coast. And another one of those, actually just like old times, I meet somebody out at a show and they think that I'm you because we kind of look sort of alike.
There are, yes, if you squint or if you've had enough alcohol, Ben and I look like we are one and the same.
Yeah, and so so someone thought when I got to the show and they thought I was you, and they're like, "Oh yeah, you interviewed me that one time." I'm like, "Oh no, that was probably Alan." But I'm the other guy. So that was it's a cool venue. It's an attic. Obviously won't disclose the location.
No, you got to ask the punk.
Got to ask the punk. but got to see Sterling and Man Alive at that show. We're going to talk all about the specifics of shows that we've been to or are going to in a bit. But yeah, it's to top it off. It was a very productive week of hitting the scene, and yeah, a lot to be excited about right now.
Absolutely. And there's a lot of great music. We are going to get into some great music to kick things off. We are starting things off with a video from 9 a.m., which is a new name to me on the music scene, but they have shown up pretty quickly in the last few months with releases over on Breaking and Entering, as well as just having shows and things like that. So starting to see this name 9 a.m. And this is going to be, if you haven't seen their music video for Something's Wrong, this is your first look at it. Make sure you go check it out. I'm dying over here. I'm choking right now as we speak. So here is I'll shut up. Here's 9 a.m. with Something's Wrong on the Writers' Room. All right, that was new music from from 9 a.m. That was Something's Wrong. Interested, very interested in, because it sounds like the new generation of indie is kind of the way I would think of it. Um, Not saying that indie rock has necessarily matured to that level, but when I was younger, I was in the MTV2 is new era, and we were learning about all these bands that had a very lo-fi kind of driven sound like that,
Yeah.
and kind of buzzy. And this feels like the next evolution of that. So excited to see what 9 a.m. does, because they're going to do that on a local level. And
Yeah.
I think there have been bits and pieces of it, and I think that it's growing. But I think 9 a.m. is one of the first artists to really latch onto that sound and be able to make that the core of what they do. So excited for it, for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. There's a lot of really solid indie pop and bedroom pop artists that are all pretty in the burgeoning DIY scene right now. And 9
Yeah.
a.m.'s definitely a name to watch. So
Yeah, I think
out to them.
it kind of comes from, the era of being able to make music in a bedroom and make it sound great and make it really, if you have the right tools or you can do enough Googling, you can figure out how to like record and master your stuff and make it really sound great. And yeah, definitely looking forward to some of the new names coming up in Milwaukee. Speaking of new names coming up in Milwaukee, we have, well, Ben has a little shindig going on tomorrow over at Cactus Club. So excited to see the next version of the next installment of Mr. Nice Guy Presents. We got Rat Bath, we got Maybe Hazel, Audible Kink, and Nate John Herlack all on one bill at the Cactus Club. You are raising money as well for the for reproductive equality, for the Lilith Fund. Sorry.
Yes.
Could you explain, since I am just reading it now, could you explain a little bit about the Lilith Fund?
Yeah, the Lilith Fund is a organization that is specifically based in Texas, and they provide financial assistance and emotional support for those who need abortions in Texas, which, as we've seen in the last few months, reproductive rights are being threatened. There were some really shitty laws passed where abortions are banned after a certain amount of weeks, and that's just another layer of like complicating a very personal situation for somebody who is faced with whether or not they want to have a kid or not. So
yeah.
So this organization, just with everything that happened in Texas in the last few months, just felt it was important to pivot to this issue. So yeah, hoping to raise some money, but also just hoping to have some great shows from great artists.
You do have a very stacked bill. All of the Mr. Nice Guy shows. For some reason, Ben, you are just killing it on the promoter game, putting those together. But I really do like the bills that you put together because it's kind of a showcase for younger bands. And really within the last, coming out of the pandemic, and even just a little bit before that, since Kelsey took over Cactus Club, it's been exciting to watch bands play Cactus Club for the first time. I don't know if any of these bands are playing for their first time on that stage, but when you think of Cactus Club, it really is somewhere that, Spoon and Death Cab for Cutie and Queens of the Stone Age and the White Stripes and all these bands played there when they were young. And to have that in Bayview, just in like a little corner bar, in a smaller room and that setting, like it's still exciting to say that you played the same stage that those people played, and now those are some of the biggest bands in the world. So it's exciting to potentially any one of those bands could become the next one of them, and that I think it re-encourages them too by being able to book that space and play that space. I mean, if you're in Nashville, you don't get to just play the Bluebird Cafe, or you don't get to just play the Ryman Auditorium or some of these places that those stars played. If you're in New York, you don't get to just play. If you're a hip hop artist, you don't get to just go to SOBs where tons of bands have played, or if you're in DC at 930 Club, Minnesota, First Avenue, all that shit. Like you don't get to just play where some of these big names have played. And Cactus has been super inclusive, and Mr. Nice Guy bills are definitely a good, way to open the door for some of those acts to get into a big space. So
totally,
props to you for putting that together.
Well, thank you. I appreciate you saying that, and yeah, I mean that's encouraging to hear from that perspective, because that's actually exactly what the idea was for the series, is where I wanted to prioritize bands and artists that have not played Cactus Club before. I mean, if people were in other projects that are in these projects I'm booking and they played it, then that's fine. But for the most part, like at least for now, I'm trying to organize a series as people who have new bands or artists, whether they're solo or in a band, to play Cactus, to have an opportunity there,
Yeah.
because there's a lot of shows that come through there every week, a lot of touring acts, and you know sometimes it can be kind of hard to get in,
Yeah.
to get an opportunity there. For obviously for many local bands, it's worked out, but for some they might not be like as familiar with like that part of the music scene, or they might not know as many people over there. But that's where like I want to help bring new people into the venue. I want, because I mean, shout out to Alex, one of the
The
best
best
sound
sound.
guys in the
Yeah.
city. And also just iconic stage, just wonderful like community energy
Mhm.
where like there's always like like a food truck outside, or there's always vendors in the venue.
Yeah.
There's local DJs. Um, there's just it's such a hub for like that kind of it's a hub for the community that kind of blurs the lines between it blurs the lines of like you know what is like um what's accessible like to local artists versus like what's accessible for touring artists, and
Right.
to
Yeah.
marry those two components make it such an important venue in our scene, and one that I think that everyone should play, or at least try to get into playing at least at some point. And also, to not only bring in new artists, but also just bring in new fans and showgoers, and bring people into the venue like all in one room that may not otherwise like all hang out or be at the same show together. Like
Right.
I'm hoping that people can meet each other, make friends, and just have a great time. And tip your bartender too, because
Yeah.
that's all
Absolutely.
the great bartenders at Cactus Club as well.
And many of them
It's
are creatives too.
Yeah,
You know.
exactly. It's an artist-run venue.
Yeah.
I that should have been said first. Is that it is an artist-run venue.
Yeah.
Kelsey
So
has been in bands for such a long time herself.
right. So shout out to Kelsey and everybody that makes Cactus Club run over there. Seriously, some of the best. And if you haven't been there, you got a great chance to go tomorrow night over at Cactus Club. I believe doors are at 7, right?
Doors are at 7.
Doors are at
ten
7.
bucks
Okay.
covers $10.
Yeah. So
And you have to show proof of vax.
yes,
So
proof of vaccination. Be there. I mean, if you didn't have that already, get the rapid test. Do what you got to do. But be there. Go check out Mr. Nice Guy Presents because there's a stacked bill. Also, got to give a real quick shout out to Killer Cuts, DJ Killer Cuts, who put together this past Saturday over at the Backyard in Bayview the the latest edition of Fresh Air, which is a breaking and entering event. But Killer Cuts actually hit up Bijou Zimmerman and I, who booked this thing, and said, "Hey, I want to do like an all day. Like we usually do it as a day party outside." He said, "No, I want to go 3 p.m. to close," and he rocked that party. Like he had a stack lineup. I think he had like 6 DJs, something crazy like that. The first time in a while that I have felt like this is like a truly unique party experience at the Backyard. So shout out to Killer Cuts and everybody that he had on that Fresh Air lineup. He's going to be booking the next one too. So it's the third Saturday of next month. If I was a better host, I would tell you what that is offhand, but we'll have that up on breakingandentering.net as well to make sure you get to go check that out too. So lots of great music happening here in Milwaukee. Make sure you go check out whatever local venue is closest to you when it's convenient for you. But specifically, check out Ben's show tomorrow. Check out Mr. Nice Guy. I'll be there tomorrow. We're gonna get some interviews for Breaking and Entering YouTube page and all of our various social media as well. But we're gonna get into our second music video of this week real quick because we're gonna talk. We're gonna talk about some more live shows, I'm sure, and new music and all sorts of great stuff in a minute. But right now, we're getting into a video from Sam McCullough featuring Rio Lanza. This is Tear My Eyes Out. It's nice little a little harder edged rock song. How about that? Yeah.
Give me all
So,
that you got.
yeah, there we go. So Sam McCullough, Rio Lanza, Tear My Eyes Out here on the Writers Room. That was Sam McCullough featuring Rio Lanza. That is Tear My Eyes Out. It's a brand new video. It's awesome. Very intense. a lot of screaming there going on. Rio Lanza is somebody that interests me because he's had a background in like metalcore and hardcore bands and things like that.
Yeah.
He also did a song with the Cranberry Show, which was a rap group that I produced for a while ago. Years and years ago now, probably a decade ago now. Shit. But yeah, he did a hook for them, and I had no idea who he was then, and then I started seeing his name in recent years once again. So shout out to him for being in and around Milwaukee music for just about as long as I have.
Yeah, yeah. Oh,
So,
yeah. No kidding. That's awesome. Yeah,
so yeah,
dude. So there's been a lot of uh, we've been staying on top of the releases this past couple weeks here,
yeah,
and we've gotten some really solid content out on the site this past week.
yeah. Ben especially has been killing it with a lot of the new releases. There's a ton of new music coming out of all different aspects of the Milwaukee music scene. Um, Especially, I mean, the hip hop scene. I have been a little bit tuned in. We got new Wave Chappelle that we just put up on the site today. He's cruising through the Pink Pack as his latest weekly drops. We had a recent video from Chicken Team, which I had never heard of until I was checking out, was doing a little scrolling on the YouTube. They've got a street anthem with one of their latest. And we also got, not to be confused with Chicken P, aka formerly Lil Chicken, who had a song out with Young Blue that just dropped. And Young Blue, for those that don't know, is buzzing like nationally. So I mean, Chicken is on his shit. He's for sure, elevating his game a little bit. So
Yeah,
I'm excited to see him break out and do something nationally and generate his own buzz. So
awesome. Yeah, dude. We got a new record from Primitive Broadcast Service, the cacophonous noise rock band, who have been big supporters from us
yeah,
for for a while. They and this record is spectacular. It's if you like, some of the more abrasive and noisy and distorted sides of rock music and experimental music, then I suggest checking this one out. It's got some political themes on it. And funny story about Primitive Broadcast Service. I don't even know. Maybe I've told this story before. I don't know. But earlier this year, I was in Bremen Cafe down here in River West, and
the
one of their
esteemed the esteemed Bremen Cafe,
oh yeah, the iconic Bremen Cafe,
iconic
and
for sure.
one of their members was actually in the bar, and he bought me a shot for covering their music.
Huh.
So shout out to Primitive Broadcast Service. So
Shout out to them and shout out real quick to Sterling, MKE, which are in our
oh
Instagram
yeah,
chat right now.
they
So
are a band I caught this past weekend. Saw them on. They were the ones at the Oscillator Lounge, and dude, Sterling rules. They haven't been a band for very long. They just played their first show like a month ago, but we actually covered their first EP last year that came out during quarantine. And they're just very energetic, emo tinged, post hardcore tinged indie rock.
I'm a fan.
Um,
I'm a fan for sure.
yeah,
Yes,
Alan,
definitely.
you'd like them. We actually should book them sometime. They're really energetic and fun trio. They're dropping another record next month. So
Sweet.
shout out to them. We also had a new record from Buffalo Nichols on
Yeah.
Friday,
Yeah, that
which
one, that's a name I haven't heard in a little bit. Excited to
yeah,
hear a new record from him. I have not gotten a chance to check it out. It is on my radar for sure. But yeah, I'm excited to hear it. Americana,
yeah,
indie
yeah,
Americana kind of. So
yeah. And it's great to see both members of that were in Nickel and Rose, both Johanna and Buffalo Nichols. That both of them, went on to drop really amazing solo records
hmm
this year. So yeah, I know that Buffalo Nichols is now based in Austin, but we hope he can make it up here for some shows at some point soon.
that's good to know.
Um,
I'm going to Austin in a little bit in about a
oh yeah,
month.
yeah,
So
go hit up
I'll be
Carl,
there.
man.
Yeah, I'll be
Yeah,
there for sure. We
yeah.
also got a record, got a brand new single from Sherrod Sloan's that is up on the website today, up on breakingandentering.net. Sherrod Sloan's has been in this game for a long time. It seemed like he took a few years off. I don't know if that's necessarily the right terminology for it because I know he's been working, but this is the first tracks I think he's released since maybe 2019. You know, he put out the free tape back then, but I think he took all of 2020 off. Uh, he's got a new track produced by Business Boy and Darrell Rideout. Business Boy, for those that don't know, I believe has a Grammy. I know he's got a lot of records sold as well from Milwaukee. Um, he's working with the right people. I'll tell you that.
Yeah.
He's working with a lot of the right people to make something big happen. And he still has that rapid fire flow that if he, you know, if he's got to pull that out, he's got it in his back pocket for sure. So,
Yeah, absolutely.
who else we got music from?
Tell me about the new Altered Five Blues Band record that you covered last week.
Yeah, they've got a new record out. Altered Five Blues Band has been a staple of the Milwaukee music scene for quite some time. I know them most from playing Summerfest because their name appears on the Summerfest bill quite a bit, and hearing their album makes it feel like I am at Summerfest when it's in the proper time of year, in the middle of the sun. It feels like it's July and it's about 87 degrees out, and I can smell the corn roasting off the side as they are at the Harley Davidson Roadhouse, which is now the Generac Power Stage. But at the time when they played it a lot, it was the Harley stage. They have that. It's very gritty, like soulful kind of blues rock. It is a little bit older than my taste. It skews a little older than what I normally listen to, but it has that feeling of being out in the sun, being at a dusty, roadhouse type event, and I like the album. It is good for the right mood. Like I said, it skews a little bit older than my taste, but I would check it out. Musicianship, though, if you're a fan of true musicianship, like things being technically perfect, that's the album for you. The new Altered Five Blues Band.
Well, I love, it's always exciting when mainstays in the music scene that have spanned for a very long time, way before, I mean, obviously way before my time, but way before many people's times, are still like dropping records and making music. That's why when Exposed Foreheads came out with a record recently, like I like it when like the older generations are still dropping music, even if it's not like totally like my taste, like I still have a lot of appreciation for the older generations that still, believe in the scene and want to be a part of it, and they're still having fun.
And a lot of people don't know Milwaukee has had a really rich musical history going back to, there was a heyday in the late 70s, early 80s that people really latch onto, and Exposed Forehead kind of came out of that scene.
Yipes was another two.
Yipes is another one. The Haskells, which are behind me. Plastic Land, which is behind me. All from that era. And to be very honest, the Shepherd Express, where I work, is a product of that era too. It was the Express. It was a fanzine, and it was started by my editor now, who was a music writer, who thought he could do it or wanted to cover the bands that other outlets weren't covering, and he started when he was 18. And man, doesn't that sound like another sort of thing that might have started because the music coverage in Milwaukee might have been a little lacking at the time, and then it kind of grew. So look where we are now. Everything comes full circle, right?
Also, dude, tell us. So let's talk about that John Henry video that just came out.
Oh my God, yes. Speaking of, because there is a reference to Journal Sentinel music editor Piet Levy that's in there, but that is a really cool video, and I hope maybe next time that we do this show we should play it. But John Henry's Tour Milwaukee is cool because it is as many music references as you can make to the local like Milwaukee scene in one video. He makes all of them. So like everything down from like the Cooperage to he mentions Luxie, Cactus Club. I mean,
talks about Bad Genie. He talks about like Milwaukee Brewing. He talks about like all these different.
Yeah, as many Milwaukee references as you can make in like a 3-minute video. He makes all of them, and it's cool because I didn't really know what to expect from it going in. And he retweeted it, and he came up with some bars about me in the retweet. So there's that.
Oh yeah, that's sick. Yeah.
Yeah, man's got bars all over the place.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, and I also want to make a point that we also got wind of some rock bands this past week in the scene that we have not covered before. We got new music from Amberstein, a hard rock band that
their first stuff in a while. Yeah.
Yeah. And then, but we also got some new bands that are like totally like really new on the scene, like Thick Needles and Sauce Hound. You know, like these guys, like I feel like, oh, and Kid Cooley, we got new music from Kid Cooley, which was a great EP as well. Yeah, we got a lot of like, there's a lot of new acts coming out of the woodwork, and you know, it's interesting. Like, there's a lot of pretty tight rock music in Milwaukee right now. I mean, a lot of people say that, oh, indie rock was in its heyday in like the early 2000s.
Yeah.
And then it eventually, like, then later in the 2000s, like chill wave was really cool, and like neo psych was really cool, and you know, I like a lot of people, you know, there's sort of like that presumption that, oh, rock music's dead, like there's nothing really going on in rock, but no, there's a lot of great rock bands in Milwaukee. Some of them are of the older generation, and some of them are
very young. Yeah. New. Yeah, there's going to be a whole wave of young acts coming through, and they are going to definitely be on the digital ink of breaking and entering for sure. So make sure you do check that out. I mean, we really do try to cover, like I said, everybody from the festival level down to somebody making something cool in their basement. And these young bands are an example of that. You know, there's going to be a wave of kids that are coming out of college or in college right now that are playing these house shows and they're playing DIY stuff. Those bands are going to come up hopefully through our ranks at some point, and I can't wait to see what the future of it holds for sure. So with that said, we are going to get into our final video for the week. Is from Alicia Dominguez. The song is called Out of the Blue. Again, a younger, relatively newer name on the music scene as well. Singer-songwriter. So a little pop-oriented.
I actually met her through Wisconsin Music Ventures.
Oh, okay, yeah. Shout out to them. And the Wisconsin Music Podcast, I believe that they do.
Yeah.
So
the Musicians Venture, I believe is what it's officially called, yes.
Okay, sweet. Well, if you have not heard, you can get your first listen again here to another young act. It's Alicia Dominguez. This is Out of the Blue on the Writers' Room.
All around this town, and I had my feet on the ground. I kept my heart hidden, never knew I was missing the magical feeling I found when I saw you. You got me falling out of the moon. My hands up in the clouds, nobody take me down, 'cause I'm flying high. See the sky, no limits to our love. When I'm kissing you, my colors coming through like fireworks bursting above. When I'm with you, you got me falling out of the blue. My head's up in the clouds, nobody take me down, 'cause I'm flying high.
All right, that was Alicia Dominguez with Out of the Blue here on the Writers Room. Do got to give a quick shout out again to Sterling from Instagram Live, saying that she's got a killer voice and she reminds them of Michelle Branch, that one piano moving through the city song. And I just have to correct him really quick because I can't let that sit. That is Vanessa Carlton's "A Thousand Miles." That's the video for that. And I'm sorry, the music snob in me had to point that out. But yes, I do agree. Very much in the vein of a Vanessa Carlton or a Michelle Branch, really, as well. So we have also been joined by
love adult contemporary on the Writers Room, don't we, Alan?
Yeah, hey, okay, I'm a little adult contemporary sometimes, and we've also been joined as well by producer Rocky, who has decided to hop into my arms for the last segment of the show. But lots of great stuff happening here in Milwaukee music. A lot of it is going to be up over at breakingandentering.net. So if you don't already check that out, make sure you do that. Ben, we're going to see each other tomorrow. We will actually see each other in the flesh at Mr.
Crazy?
Nice Guy. Yeah.
Dude, yeah. Man, it's still not used to that. But no,
I think
I'm
the
excited.
last time was Summerfest.
It was, and that was just a mind fuck.
Yeah.
No, I'm very much looking forward to seeing you and seeing everybody. Just being out out on the scene tomorrow night, doing what I love doing. It's gonna be a great show. So for those of you who want to come, 7 p.m., $10, and just leave the bullshit at home. We're having a good time. So.
Leave the bullshit at home, but come to Mr. Nice Guy presents tomorrow at Cactus Club. I'll be there a little bit early. We'll be getting those interviews for the YouTube channel for Breaking and Entering. So we'll be doing all that.
Don't forget the banner. Actually, don't forget the Breaking and Entering banner.
I have plenty of I'll have the Breaking and Entering banner. Will be there. We'll have a bunch of stickers. You can get some free Breaking and Entering merch, some free stickers for sure. So we'll be all over the place. We are out here doing things, and more stuff and things, Ben.
More stuff and things.
If you do want to check out new music every single day, you can do that over at breakingandentering.net. You can also find us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat, YouTube, TikTok, Twitch. We have content all over the damn internet. If you want to support what Ben and I do, you can do that monetarily and get some exclusive content over at patreon.com/breakingandentering. You can do that for as low as $5. Help buy Rocky some bones. And we will have a blast doing this. We are doing our next one of these in 2 weeks. We're going to do it on a Wednesday, I believe. So that'll be Wednesday, November 3rd, but it'll be at 5 o'clock again. You can check us out here. We have on Twitch, every morning we're putting up music videos. We record Breaking and Entering Radio, and we do a live stream on Twitch and all of our social media as well, too. So if you aren't following us, if you're new, if you're watching this for the first time, make sure you subscribe to us everywhere because we really do have tons and tons of content. So on that note, we are going to get out of here because Rocky is getting a little restless and a little heavy at the same time. So make sure you go to Mr. Nice Guy tomorrow. Mr. Nice Guy presents tomorrow night at Cactus Club. And we will see you next time on the Writers Room.
Peace.